Hey guys, welcome back to Mad About Skin. In today's video, we continue our skincare showdown series that I'm running here on the channel, where we look at the do's, the don'ts, the good, the bad, with each different skincare ingredient that finds its way into our routines. Today, we're mixing things up a little bit. Instead of focusing down on a specific ingredient, we're going to focus down on a country, a category of skincare, Korean skincare specifically. Now, Korean skincare has become super popular over the past 5 years, and the market seems flooded with new products. It can seem a little bit confusing. Well, in today's video, I want to share with you the do's, the don'ts, the good, the bad, to help you navigate successfully the world of Korean skincare. Sit back, relax, let's start our Korean skincare showdown. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite products that represent some of these do's and don'ts, what I think is really good in the Korean skincare world. Just know that these recommendations are entirely sponsorship and paid partnership free. Here on Mad About Skin, I pride myself on my independence. I turn down that coin because then I can speak from the heart and not the wallet. If you appreciate truly independent skincare advice here on YouTube, make sure to reach down and give the video a big thumbs up and a like. The more likes a video gets, the more widely YouTube will distribute it on its platform. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I'd also love to know, what's your hot take on Korean skincare? It seems that just about everyone is fangirling hard over the K skincare market in 2025, but does that apply to you? If you're a huge fan of Korean skincare, let me know down in the comments, share your favorite brands and products. If you're not a big fan at all, again, still want to hear from you. Let me know what's not doing it for you when it comes to Korean skincare. We're all friends here on the channel, so we can support each other in our own skincare journeys. Now, without further ado, let's cut that waffle and delve straight on in. So, as I said earlier, this is part of a series that I'm running on the channel. We've already covered growth factors, peptides, vitamin C's, retinoids, the lot. I've pulled them together in a playlist, which I'm going to leave a link to up there. So if you want to do a little bit of, bedtime viewing for some of the videos that you might have missed, check out that playlist. Today, we're focusing down on Korean skincare. Now, for those who've been with the channel some time, you'll know I'm a little bit of a fan of Korean skincare, and it probably represents around 50% of my daily skincare routines. But as with everything, there is good and there is bad. And I want to share with you, first of all, some of the do's, things to look out for in Korean skincare. Then we're going to move on to some of the don'ts later in the video. You want to jump to one section of the video over another? There's timestamps down in the description box. Now let's start out with the positive vibes, the do's, the things to look out for when it comes to Korean skincare. And first and foremost, innovation. I often find that most of the Western brands are a couple of years behind Korean skincare brands. What starts in Korea will eventually find its way into Western brands 2, 3, 4 or 5 years later. If you want to get ahead of the skincare curve, then Korean skincare is a really great place to do just that. There's so many new innovative technologies and ingredients coming out of the Korean skincare market. And I think if you really want to get the most from your skincare routine, exploring this innovation is definitely a way to do it. Now, I would say try not to be too put off by some of the scientific sounding names. Often when things are in their early innovation stages, they have ridiculously long names. That can seem a little bit overwhelming, but try not to worry too much about it. Embrace the innovation and try a couple of new ingredients or technologies for your routine. That for me has worked out really well. Some of my personal favorites when it comes to these newer innovations are, first and foremost, PDRN. That's a ridiculously long title, but is abbreviated to PDRN, which studies have shown really promising results when it comes to boosting collagen and elastin in the skin. So great for anti-aging. Now, there's a lot of buzz about PDRN in the market at the moment, and all of it seems to be found in Korean skincare products. One of my personal favorites is this. This is the NAD NAD plus PDRN peptide toner. This is fantastic because you've got that PDRN, you've got those peptides, everything is going on here, and this is a great way of getting a little innovation into your skincare routine without breaking the bank and without having to have a plethora of new products. I absolutely love it. Another key ingredient when it comes to innovation is NAD. It's in the title of this one too. So this is kind of like a 2-in-1, which is why I love it so much. In fact, I covered this line in an entirely separate video, which I'll link up there. Check that out if you want to know a little bit more about this. But that NAD is, again, great. proven to boost collagen and elastin production and also reinforce the barrier health in the skin. So if you're someone that has a lot of sensitivity and irritation, NAD can be a new and innovative ingredient to slot into your routine to just take it to the next level. Last but by no means least, when it comes to innovative ingredients and technologies, let's talk about spicules. Now, spicules are tiny little needles that help to push product deeper into the skin. They were popularized by this line. This is the VT Riedel shot line, and they've exploded in popularity. You're seeing a lot of spicule technology being used by brands. You also see exosome technology, which is different but works in a similar way. Again, both popularized by Korean skincare brands and now slowly finding their way to brands here in the West. If you want to get like the original and the authentic when it comes to spicules, then the VT Riedel shot line is amazing. This is their vitamin C one, which again, I'll link down in the description box below. Stunning. One of the fastest acting vitamin C's. And I would say one of the big do's in Korean skincare is embrace that innovation. Get the most from your skincare routine by getting ahead of that skincare curve by investing in some innovative Korean skincare. Now, second on the do's is do get yourself a Korean skincare sunscreen. If you feel a little intimidated by the Korean skincare market, so much choice, so many different brands, different terms, just focus down on the sunscreens, because I think hands down, it's just universally acknowledged as a truth that Korean sunscreens are the best on the planet in terms of their application and how they feel on the skin. The new generation filters that provide the very best level of protection, they do it all. Korean sunscreens are where it's at. And like I say, you obviously brands in the West now using these newer generation filters that were developed from Korea and finding their way into Western brands, which is great to see. I love my Korean sunscreens, and one of my personal favorites is this. This is the K-Secret Collagen Boosting Secret Sun Lotion. Advanced technologies, new generation filters, a plethora of skincare benefits. This is sunscreen done right. And like I say, if you're feeling a little intimidated by Korean skincare, start with the sunscreen and build from there, because I promise you, just one application of a good Korean sunscreen and you will be hooked. I did a video on my favorite Korean sunscreens probably about a year ago now. That list still stands the test of time, so I'll find it and link it up there. Check that out if you want to know a little bit more of some of my personal favorite recommendations. Now, last but by no means least on the do's when it comes to Korean skincare, do check your volumes on products. Now, I say this because Korean skincare packaging can be a little bit confusing to the eye, particularly for us Western consumers that maybe aren't used to some of the packaging options. Often when it comes to Korean skincare, you're getting a lot more product than you actually think. Take, for example, this. This is the Skin 1004 Centella Ampule. This actually contains 100 ml of product, which is 3 times the amount that we're used to seeing here in the West. Most serums here will be 30 ml. This is 100 ml. So you're getting a lot of product. People will look at this and think, oh, it's around £15. I think that's a fairly standard price for a serum. Well, it's not, because you're getting 3 times the quantity for that standard price. So it's actually 3 times better value. This is a great thing. Look at the volumes that you're getting, and then you can work out the true cost effectiveness of a product. The opposite does also apply too. Whilst when it comes to Korean serums, you'll generally get a lot more product than we're used to seeing here in the West. In sunscreens, you'll often get less product. Instead of being 100 or 150 ml, Korean sunscreens generally come in a 50 ml or a 40 ml quantity. Pay attention to that so you can work out whether it is cost effective, because obviously if you're paying a standard price for a sunscreen but you're getting half the amount, that's really double the cost, if that makes sense. So do just pay attention to the volumes, to the quantities that you're actually getting before you make a purchase, and that way you can really work out whether that particular product is value for money or not, and whether it aligns to your budget. So those are the do's. All the good things worth celebrating in the Korean skincare market. The innovation, the fantastic sunscreens, and the fact you often get a lot more product without actually noticing it, which is always a nice problem to have. But there are a couple of don'ts that I want to touch on now. First up, I would say don't just stick to one Korean skincare brand. And the reason I say this is Korean brands often kind of find themselves in a niche and then double down on that niche. Brands will often focus in a hyper-fixated way on a particular ingredient or a particular technology or a particular way of approaching skincare. Take, for example, the product that I mentioned earlier. This is the VT Riedel Shot line. They really did well with this line and they doubled down on it. There are now 15 to 20 different versions of their VT line, and that's really what they're known for. They come out with serums with the spicule technology. They've got creams. They've got so much going on. And so if you were to just stick to products from VT, for example, you're probably going to be overdoing it on that spicule technology. You don't want to have more than one product with spicules in your routine. The same goes for Numbuzin. You know, I mentioned earlier how much I love this particular toner. They also do an essence. They do a sunscreen. They do an eye cream. You know, there are lots of, all of these products have very similar ingredients. So I'd say rather than shopping exclusively within one brand or one product line from a brand, which you could risk overdoing it with certain ingredients or certain technologies, kind of mix and match. I think to us here in the West, it's a little unusual for brands to really hone in and hyperfixate on a particular ingredient or technology. They tend to play the field and have a lot of different variation. The same doesn't happen in Korean skincare, so just be mindful that you're not overdoing it with certain ingredients or technologies by just shopping exclusively one particular brand or range over another. And then last but by no means least on the don'ts, don't overdo it on niacinamide and centella. These two ingredients find their way into just about every single Korean skincare product. And as a result, it's quite easy to overdo it. If you use too much niacinamide, you might get redness, peeling, irritation, and sensitivity. It can break you out. It's not a good thing to have too much of anything in skincare, but niacinamide can be problematic in too higher concentrations. And if you're getting a niacinamide fix in your cleanser, in your essence, in your serum, in your sunscreen, that's a lot. That's a lot for the skin to take in one routine, and I think it's quite easy to use too much niacinamide when it comes to Korean skincare because it's in just about everything. So just be mindful of that and read the ingredients to make sure you know exactly what you're getting. The same goes for centella asiatica. Now, this isn't quite as problematic as niacinamide. If you overdo it, it tends to be a little bit more forgiving. But again, too much centella, you might see your skin breaking out, you might start to have purging, you might start to have an irritation reaction. And because centella is in just about every single Korean skincare product, again, it's easy to overdo it. My approach is to have around 50% of my skincare routine from the Korean skincare market, the rest from Western brands. And that way, I feel like I'm limiting the total exposure to centella asiatica, getting a good dose, but not too much. Same goes for niacinamide. That works for me. Might not work for everyone, but let's just be mindful of some of these ingredients that find their way into every single product, and so we can restrict the risk and limit the risk of any sensitivity and irritation from overdoing it. So there you have it, guys. The truth about Korean skincare, the do's, the don'ts, and everything in between. I would say play around and have fun with Korean skincare. There is so much newness, innovation, and just fantastic results to be had from Korean skincare. But as with anything, it is possible to overdo it, and we do have to be mindful of, which brands we're shopping with and how they formulate. But my advice to everyone is if you haven't tried Korean skincare yet, start with the sunscreen, you'll be hooked, and then you can work from there. That's certainly how it worked for me. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below, and don't forget to drop that Korean flag emoji if you've made it through to the bitter end on this video. If you're part of that bitter end crew, I'd like to personally thank you for wading through all this waffle to be with me right through to the bitter end. If that's you, drop the Korean flag down in the comment section below so I can thank you for just your support and kindness, because trust me, I wouldn't be here today without the love, the kindness and support from each and every one of you. Now, wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye.